Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. I hope you're doing fantabulous. It's great to be with you again. Thanks for pressing play. If it's the first time here, welcome to the show. You got like 718 more episodes behind you. So there's lots to keep you company on a cold summer's night, spring night, whatever the temperature is right now for you. There's a lot of content there. So jump back in there and go through the episode titles and see if something stands out to you. And I hope that every episode of the show brings value to you. That's the intent for every episode. I don't want any of this to be fluffy. I don't want this to be a waste of time. I want it to be valuable. So thank you for being here. Please share the show with your friends, your family, anybody that's thinking about podcasting, because unfortunately there's some pretty misguided advice out there in podcasting that causes people to spend way too much money, spend way too much time chasing their tail with very little results. And unfortunately, people are trying to make money off podcasters. And I fight against that on the show because I want you to have a great experience as a creator. We need more creators in the space. And it's a great time to have a podcast. It's not a bad time. It's a great time. So there's lots of room for you. So welcome to the podcast. If you ever need help, howtopodcast.ca is where you can find me. I want to talk to you about some podcast lessons from one of my other shows. I have multiple podcasts that I do. And one of my other shows is called Living the Next Chapter. And it's a podcast for authors. And I've got a few lessons, things that I do on that show that other gurus will tell you to never do. And I do it not just out of spite against some of this bad advice from podcast gurus. Oh, I sense a song coming on. There's a bunch of stuff that I do on my shows, on that show particularly, that a lot of people just don't agree with, that teach podcasting. And I have the receipts. What I'm doing works, apparently, for my show, even though the gurus tell you it doesn't work. So if you've ever suffered from bad advice from podcast gurus, oh, well, here comes the song.
Bad advice from podcast gurus.
Okay, so one of the things that I hear from podcast gurus a lot when it comes to the title of the episode. Now, again, they make this sound like it's a rule, like it's enforceable, and it's not. It's their opinion. Now, it might be based on their findings or their research, or they just threw a dart at a dartboard one night, and that's where it landed. And they're like, well, that's what I'm going to teach because whatever. I like to kind of go with facts. That's kind of this thing I like to do. It's like fake podcast news, right? It's fake facts in podcasting, everybody. And I like to kind of go with things that work. So for my show, specific to my show, I can't talk about your show because I don't host your show. I host my show. On Living the Next Chapter, I put the name of my guest in the title of the episode. And there's people who are like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You don't do that. That's terrible. And they're like, the show should be about you and about your business. And you got to grow this into something where people will hire you. So if you put the name of your guest in the title, oh, no one's going to hire you. Well, why would anybody hire me for that anyway? I'm not even an author and I'm the host of the show. Who cares? Right? Yeah, I want people to come back to my show, but they know it by the title of the show, not the name of the person who's hosting it. It's not always about you. I'm sorry, but podcasting isn't about you at all the time. It's sometimes about your guest. And if I didn't put the name of my guest in there, and it's a podcast about authors writing books, then what's the point of the show? Okay? So this rule that these gurus create, they're saying don't put the name of your guest in the title. And then I hear everybody else saying, hey, well, my guru said don't put the name of the title. And it's like, well, what do you believe? Well, no, my guru said. Oh, enough with that. Put the name of your guest in the title if you want to. Don't put it in the title if you don't want to. Whatever you want. It's fine. Here's why I do it. I'm doing Living the Next Chapter for this reason. I don't have a funnel. I don't have a course. I don't have anything to sell. There's no product attached to my show at all. It's not a business. It's a podcast. It's simply a podcast. Not just a podcast. It's simply a podcast. And in that, I don't have anything attached to this. It's not income generating. It's not going to give me a Lamborghini or a yacht or a helicopter. It's a podcast, okay? It is what it is. And I don't need to worry about all that other stuff. I'm not looking to gain notoriety or become some famous podcaster because I have an author podcast. I'm here to serve my guest. And the whole episode is around them. I don't even intro the podcast. I feature my guest. Every episode starts with a different voice. Again, another rule gurus will tell you never to do. But I do it anyway. Why? Because it's my show. It's my show. And I don't have to listen to all these people and have them tell me what I should and should not do with my podcast, because guess what? It's my show. And you can go pound salt. I don't care about your opinion or if I'm breaking your arbitrary rule that you just made up on the spot and then charge people thousands of dollars to learn from you and then parrot. No, that's not what it's about. It's about my show. So every podcast episode has the name of my guest at the very beginning of every episode. Yep, it does. I know. Prime real estate. But I do that anyway. I have something to do with the title of the book if I can fit it in. Some of my guests have multiple books, so I can't get all of their book titles in one episode title. So I just then will pick maybe something from the topic. So if it's about mental health or business or children's books, I'll try to get something like that in the title. And then in the show notes, I'll expand the title even a little bit more, because when my episode goes live on YouTube has a limited character count, including spaces and punctuation and letters. So I can only fit so many spaces. So I have to make sure it's small enough to fit and doesn't get cut off on YouTube. So I do that. I do have the name of my guest in there, and I do that on purpose. So that's one thing. There's another thing that I do on my show that a lot of podcasters don't agree with, especially the gurus out there. And you know what? I don't care. Something that I do with my podcast and, YouTube. You're going to hear podcast gurus who just are in a hateful state if you bring up the word YouTube and podcasting in the same sentence. You'll have people just having like a massive coronary. They'll just pass out on the side of the street when you put those two words together. Here's what I do. Because I have about 8 to 12 guests a week for that particular show. Yeah, I said that out loud. 8 to 12 guests per week, either pre-interviews or actual recordings every single week. I'm releasing 3 episodes a week right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have enough content. We're recording this in June. I have enough content right now to take me to October at 3 episodes a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Finished episodes, complete, recorded, edited, posted, done, waiting for the calendar to keep up with me. That's how far out I am right now for that show. I could shut everything down and walk away, and there would be 3 episodes a week going out every single week until September, October. So I have a lot of people coming through my doors to come on the show, which is awesome for an author podcast. Authors love talking about their books. It's a great podcast to start. So if you love reading and you're like, what kind of podcast can I do? Do an author podcast. Oh my gosh, you're going to get so many amazing people and talk to great people. Go do it. But there's lots of room. I can tell you there's a lot of people wanting to come on shows, especially authors. So if you're looking to start an interview podcast, start an author podcast. Boom, you're in. You got content for days. It's easy to find people for your show. Easy to find the right people. Right. So what I do is, because I have more people recording than I have release dates at this point without overwhelming my audience, I use YouTube. And what I do is I record and edit the audio podcast version of our conversation with my guests on Living the Next Chapter, and I release it on my YouTube channel as an early release. And I have a tool that I use, and I can take my YouTube thumbnail that I create in Canva and my audio file, which I create in Audacity, and I use Zoom. Again, all the gurus are going to hate me for this episode. I use Zoom because Riverside and all those other ones, they've crapped out on me more than anything else. And I'm not interested in that. So Zoom was bulletproof. It's worked great. And I know it's not made for podcasting, but a lot of things weren't made for podcasting, but they still work. So it's fine. So I record on Zoom, record myself on Audacity. I edit in Audacity. And I take this one tool, I'll have a link in the show notes, that combines the two, the YouTube thumbnail and the MP3. It blends them together and gives me a video file, MP4, which then I can upload to YouTube manually. I do that in advance. So an episode that I record today with my guest, I'll edit, get it done, and post it to YouTube this week. And it'll go live in October. But instead of my guest waiting for October to come around and actually have access to the episode, they can hear it like within a few days of recording. And I'm using YouTube as an advance early listen for my audience. So people can come and be a part of the show and see what Dave's doing in real time. As well, pick up the episodes as they're released, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in order as the calendar releases them. And they go to Apple and Spotify and Audible and all those other places. But YouTube is my early access, behind the scenes, advanced listen before they go live. And here's the thing. It's audio on YouTube. I'll say it again. Audio on YouTube. And when I bring that up to gurus, they're like, that doesn't work. It's interesting that you say it doesn't work because I have like 2,800 watch hours for that podcast. And I'm getting people signing up all the time as viewers of an audio podcast on YouTube. And my engagement's great. People are leaving comments. My guests are commenting with the people commenting on their episode. It's so cool. There's playlists where I'm grouping like authors together in separate playlists. There's a lot of stuff you can do in there. And it's teaching me about my audience on YouTube, which might not be the same audience on Apple and Audible and Spotify, but it's an addition to what I'm doing on all the audio platforms. Now, I will do some occasional video podcasts here and there. It take me a lot of time to do. I'm not a video-first podcaster by any means. I'm an audio-first podcaster. But it's an option for me. If I do want to do a video version of the podcast, great. I'll do shorts. I'll do little things here and there. I'm playing with the tools that YouTube gives. But I do an audio-first podcast on YouTube, which apparently, according to the gurus, doesn't work. But I've proven that it does. So don't let somebody tell you that having your podcast on YouTube as an audio podcast is a waste of time. Because I've got the receipts. It's not. It's not for me, and I don't think I'm some kind of unicorn. So I think that I can help you with that as well. So if you want to learn my tools and my process, you're like, Dave, I would love to know what you're doing. howtopodcast.ca, calendar links right there. I'll go through screen by screen, button by button, and show you exactly what I'm doing. I've got nothing to hide. I want to help. If you want to get an audio version of your podcast on YouTube, outside of it automatically going live on YouTube when it goes live on all the other audio platforms, that's another part. You can manually upload anytime you want. And I'm happy to show you how to do that. howtopodcast.ca. Another thing I'm doing on Living the Next Chapter that not a lot of gurus kind of don't actively promote is I do pre-interviews for all my guests. Every interview, everybody on my show has gone through a pre-interview chat. It's not long, but what I cover is three main things. I tell the guest a little bit about the show and who the audience is, a little history of the show, who my target audience is. We cover kind of the format of the show as far as, how we do the show. I break it into two buckets. We talk to authors who listen to the show at the beginning of the episode for about 10% of our time together, and then 90% we talk to readers. Readers don't care about how you wrote your book. They just want to read your book. So that's kind of the two groups of people we talk to. And then I answer any questions that they have about the show. About 60% at this point of my guests have never been a guest on a podcast before. Somebody sent them to me. Their PR agent, their publisher, or somebody sent them to me, and they're like, I have no idea what this is. Is this radio? Is there an audience? What if I screw up? All of that stuff. We cover all of that stuff. I want them to relax, right? And that's why I'm bridge building with them in this pre-interview. And then the last part, I tell them, listen, if you've been on a podcast before, great. I don't want to duplicate that. What do you want to do on this show? What's interesting for you? You have 15 books. You want to talk about all 15, or you want to talk about the most recent one? Like, where are we heading in this conversation? What serves you? And by having that conversation with them, I've built the whole world around them and the show and the onboarding them into my world and into my community. The other part of it too is I get to, without asking and having them fill out a Google sheet, I get to hear them. Can these people formulate a sentence? Can they carry a conversation? Are they one-word answer people? Are they engaging? Are they kind of sleepy? Are they super excited and talkative? Is there anything I can hear in the background that's going to be distracting? Audio, video, whatever it's going to be. I get a good sense of what I'm working with way before I hit record. And when we leave, I give them another link for recording. They pick another time slot. In about a week or so, sometimes maybe a month later, we get together and we hit record. I have all my notes. I have everything we talked about. One thing I do on all of my sheets, I just use paper and a clipboard and a pen. I'm not really high tech at all for this. When I do the pre-chat with them, I have on the top left of my sheet, this is really kind of very specific, Dave. I have the name of the podcast, I have the name of my guest, and I have their email all written down, because finding their email after the fact has been a chore at some points. And then on the right-hand side, I just have pre, invite, and recording. And then I write in the dates. So when I write that's my pre-interview date. I write that down. And then I only fill in the invite date when I've actually emailed them the invite for the recording. So if I look at any piece of paper on my desk and there's no invite date filled in, I haven't possibly even sent the recording invite. That's a miss on my part. So I'm always kind of watching that. That's my communication with myself. Recording date I fill in on the date of recording. So I have all the dates that I need, which would correspond with Calendly, how I book my guests. I have their email, and so I don't have to go to something and find it. I have their name. If they're a pen name, I have that documented. I have if they agree to a video podcast, if they don't agree to a video podcast, everything's on the paper as well. So that I have this with me. I have a file folder, all of my completed episodes, and I have a clipboard that has all of my people that have been pre-interviewed or going to be pre-interviewed. So they have everything together, and I just do them alphabetically on the clipboard. So if somebody comes up and there's, I'm John Smith, I just flip through to the J's, and there he is. There's John Smith. And I have everything I need when I go to do the recording. It's pretty straightforward. On that same sheet that I use for my pre-interview, I will then, once the recording's done, I will put the episode number at the top, right smack in the middle. And then I'll have 3 little comments I leave at the bottom right corner of my page. I have the word done. That, again, reminds me it's done. I have a little spot where it says YouTube. I just write YouTube with a little checkbox. And I have the date. That date is when I actually will send off the email and say, hey, your episode is live. And that keeps me up to date as well, because that's one thing I have to do better at. And I know that for sure. And that's my sheet. That's kind of how I keep myself organized. Not high tech at all. And I'm not using any software. I'm not using anything that I got to pay monthly for. A paper, you know what? Even the paper's recycled. It's all stuff that has got notes on it, old pieces of paper that I've had in files for years. The other blank side of it, I'm recycling all my paper. Look at that, me, nice environmental guy. That's how I do all my stuff with that. So there's a lot of ways that you can work around and build out your stuff. But I think a pre-interview is a great way to build a relationship with your guests, put them at ease. There's an anticipation that builds, and we're talking as friends, not strangers. It's my preference. It's kind of how I do my show. It's not a rule at all, but I've found the results have been spectacular. So pre-interview or not, that's how I do my show. Another rule that I'm breaking with my podcast on Living the Next Chapter is I take my top episodes on YouTube. YouTube gives me a list of my top performing episodes based on the YouTube platform. I take that information. So it gives me a list of 5 episodes. It could be old episodes, whatever. I go into my Buzzsprout, because I'm hosted on Buzzsprout for this podcast. And I find those episodes that are doing really well on YouTube. And all I do, even if they're like super old, I'm like in my 700s, 750, 770 right now for that show. There's a lot of episodes to pick from. There's a good chance people haven't, just like this show, haven't gone back in the archives of the show and listened to these older episodes that are doing really well on YouTube for some reason. But on my audio apps, they've kind of gone dormant. Like it's old because I got new content. So people are just sticking with the new and they might have missed the old. So what I do is I find those 5 that are 10 or they're doing really well on YouTube, and I go to Buzzsprout, I go to the date for each of those episodes, and I change the date from when it was released originally. Before I do, I copy that date and I put it in the show notes. So the original published date, whatever it was, before I make any changes, do that first. Take the date, original published date, put it in the show notes and save it. That way you have a record of it. You'll need that later. Go to the date for that episode, and it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But on YouTube, it's doing well. This episode's doing really well. I'm going to take that date, that old date, I'm going to update it to yesterday. Not today or tomorrow, because that would signal a new release. This is not a new release. I'm just going to change the date from 3 years ago to yesterday. Why do I do that? When I do that, I'm bringing an episode, say episode 50, up to the list of current episodes, which is 770, 780. So you'll see 780, 779, 778, episode 50. You're like, wait, what is that doing up there? What I'm doing is that I'm bringing that episode back to life again by simply moving it up into the current list of episodes. And I leave it there for a month or so. And what I've been finding is I'm getting more hits on old content by simply just playing with the date. And after I've had them up there for a month or so, I just move them back down. Because again, remember I put the date in the show notes originally before I made any date changes to that episode. I just look at that in the show notes and then I leave that in there in my show notes. That way I know I've done this before. And then I go back up to the original where the date is and I just put it back to the original date when it was released years ago. And I play with my episodes. So if I have somebody on who's a Star Trek fan and they write all their stuff based on Star Trek background and story, but it's not really a Star Trek story, but they're inspired by it. I'm going to go get Adam Nimoy's episode from the past and bring that up. So when their episode goes live, Adam's episode is right next to it. So when you look at your phone, if you haven't heard that episode yet, it's not going to show as marked and played on your app. So you'll see Adam's episode right next to that other new episode. Adam's episode's old. My episode with that guest is new. So it shows up in the list. And all I did was change the date. Again, not something that people do on a regular basis. But for me and for my show, it's what works for me. So again, gurus won't tell you any of this stuff. But you're not breaking any rules. It's your content. It's still valuable. So go grab the date, change it, and move it up to the more current episodes. And then when you're done, just move it back to where it came from. It works really well. Go to Living the Next Chapter on your podcast app of choice and look at the most recent episodes. You're going to see something that doesn't look right. And that's not a mistake. That's on purpose. So go check my work. And again, if you're like, Dave, I want to know more about that. Howtopodcast.ca, calendar's right there. Come on. One more thing for Living the Next Chapter, my author podcast. As far as promotion, and I got asked this recently by an upcoming guest. How do you promote your show, Dave? And typically people are going to tell you social media or an email newsletter or something, right? Now, my Living the Next Chapter audience on Instagram, very good, very responsive, super great people. Most of them are past guests. So when I post on Instagram for that show, I get really good response. Really, really good. You guys are amazing. For How to Podcast this show, when I do that on Instagram, it's pretty well crickets. There's not a lot going on. I don't know where everybody is, but they're not there and they're not seeing my posts. They're not interacting with my posts on Instagram for How to Podcast series. So I don't do much on there because why? Why waste my time, right? Living the Next Chapter, different thing. What I'm building behind the scenes for Living the Next Chapter is loosely based on what I'm doing for yet one of my other shows, the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine, CanadianPodcaster.com. For the Canadian Podcaster Magazine, I create a digital virtual magazine that actually allows you to flip the pages front, forward, backwards, and you can flip through this online digital magazine, which is quite unique. It features Canadian podcasters and Canadian tools and Canadian stories in and around anything to do with Canadian content and podcasting. So I've created that at CanadianPodcaster.com. If you want to see the magazine, even if you're not Canadian, you can go check it out at CanadianPodcaster.com and go pick any up, any edition, and flip through, and you'll see what I'm doing. Everything on the page is clickable, linking back to the people that are featured or the products or services featured. And we have articles and book recommendations and all kinds of stuff. It's all there. So go check it out. I'm building right now behind the scenes for Living the Next Chapter based on my YouTube playlists, which we talked about earlier, where I'm grouping authors together with other like authors. I am building a magazine set for the same playlists. So I'll have a magazine, a virtual magazine for Living the Next Chapter, children's authors. Living the Next Chapter, parenting. Living the Next Chapter, mental health. Living the Next Chapter, people who have served in the military, who are now right. Living the Next Chapter, Hollywood actors and movie stars that have been on the show. Legal, lawyers, judges, and police officers, right? And those kind of things. I'm grouping these together in separate magazines. So because I have so many episodes, what I'm finding is my audience doesn't know where to start. So by having these digital magazines, each page will be similar to CanadianPodcaster.com. There'll be a full page about my guest, their books, all branded towards how they brand themselves on their websites and their social platforms. And it'll be a one-pager for my guests who are grouped together with other like authors. So if you love historical fiction, well, here's a magazine of all my historical fiction authors. And you can click through, and if you're as a new person to my world or Living the Next Chapter, you can find all of the authors you love in one place. Links right to their episodes and right to their website, right to their books, all in one spot. That's what I'm building. Again, based on CanadianPodcaster.com magazine. So that's why I built the magazine, partly why I built the magazine, on top of raising Canadian voices in podcasting. But I wanted to play with that. It's built in Canva. It's then connected to a thing called Heyzine, Heyzine, or Z-I-N-E, and Heyzine. The two of them work together, and that's what makes the magazine clickable and flippable on your app, your phone, or your computer, your tablet, whatever. That's how that works. So I'm building that in the background as well. So that's another way of promoting, and it's not what normal people do in podcasting. It's not common. And when I mention this to people, they're like, what? So yeah, that's what I'm building. That also gives me the opportunity to maybe put those magazines behind a paywall, potentially in the future, so people can pay to have access to the magazines. It's valuable. It's in addition to everything else I'm doing. It's going to take time to build these things, and it costs money to make this. So I might hide them behind a paywall, something small, maybe through my Buy Me a Coffee, for example. And it will allow me to make some money from my show indirectly and bring value to the audience and to the guests to group these things together. Again, based on my playlists that are already being crafted and built on YouTube as we speak. So I'm doing all these things at the same time while running multiple shows, working full time, doing all these things, and it's all working. So when a guru tells you there's only one way to podcast, there's only one way that you can do this, that this is a bad idea and do it my way because it's the only way. I'm here to tell you there's multiple ways to do podcasting. My way may not work for you, but I'm going to keep doing things differently. And if that's something that inspires you to think differently than what everyone else is doing, then please keep following this show. And I'd love to hear from you. If any of the things we talked about here today are like, oh my gosh, I never saw it in that way. I never thought of it in that context. I need to talk to Dave. Then stop waiting. I'm I'm doing everything I can. I have meetups for podcasters twice a week. I've been doing that for years. I have my website. I have this podcast. I have all kinds of ways for us to connect. And the only person that's in the way of this happening is you. So if you want help and you really want to do something about your show, the idea, or grow the podcast you already have, howtopodcast.ca. I'll meet you there. And if you love reading and you love authors, please go check out Living the Next Chapter at livingthenextchapter.com. It's a great web podcast. It's a great guest. You're going to meet some of the nicest people ever on that show. And you can hear what I'm doing and see what I'm doing in real time by following the show. Head over to the YouTube channel for that as well. You will see exactly what I'm talking about and see what I'm recording. And I hope it inspires you. I hope it makes you come up with some new questions too. Reach out to me. I'd love to answer those questions. Thanks for being here. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal, and you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar, and I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link, set up time in my calendar, and in the comments section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need the show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening. You're still here. Amazing. Now, I had done my call to action, right? This is for you, bonus episode content, just for you because you stuck around to the very, very, very end. I've been promoting my meetups for a long time now. And like I said, we've been doing these meetups for, I think we're in our 4th year now, every Tuesday and Saturday, twice a week. You have free time with me. Tuesdays are an hour and Saturdays are an hour and a half. And it's marginal. Like, we have a good group. Yeah, it's great. We've had some regulars. We've had some people come. We've had some people go. We've had some people quit podcasting altogether. We keep a pretty tight group. There's a lot of people who sign up for that group and they never show up. They just, I don't know what it is. It's like a badge of honor to be a part of all these groups, but they're just so, I don't know. There's something not attractive to it for them. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we just remove them anyway. So if you're not active in the group for a 3 or 4 month period, we just take you out. So you're always welcome to come back, but no, we're not here to grow this big group of non-committed, non-attendees. That doesn't make our group any better. We'd much rather have active people. So I'd have it down to 20 if I could, but I don't want to take everybody out. But it's there for you. And when we put these things out there, and then I hear people complaining about the cost of a podcast conference and travel and conference costs, and I can't afford to do that, and I wish I had community, and on and on and on. And I'm like, there's things out there. There's people trying to create the answer for you. But if you don't take action and you don't step up and join these things and take advantage of these opportunities, I'm not sure how we can help you. So please come check out our meetup. You're going to meet people. You can ask questions of the group, and it's not just a big Dave fest. Everybody jumps in to help each other. We have each other's back. We support each other. We challenge each other. We even kick each other in the butt when people start, waning in their love for podcasting. We'll come around and hug you and love you, but we're also going to say, hey, smarten up. You're missing the boat here. If you need help, you need community, come join our free podcast meetup. It's on meetup.com. Best way to find it, go through our website, because there's a link right on howtopodcast.ca. Come join up the meetup. Doesn't cost you a penny, and you can meet people on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So please stop lamenting on the fact that you just feel so alone in podcasting. There's no reason for that. If you're interested in community, then make it a priority and come join us. It's there. Please don't complain that there's no community in podcasting if you don't take the initiative to be a part of one. It's there for you. We'll be waiting. Talk soon.